If you clicked on this video, you're probably asking yourself, how can I be more productive? And by now, I'm sure you've seen the 4 a.m. morning routines or 12-hour study with me's all over social media. It's easy to compare yourself to what others are doing and feel bad for not doing those same things. In the past few years especially, hustle culture and toxic productivity has become more and more prevalent. The unhealthy desire to be productive at all times and feeling guilty when you're not has skewed the perception of what really matters in life, creating unrealistic expectations and encouraging unhealthy competitiveness and burnout. In today's video, I'll be giving you my current top 8 tips to fostering healthy productivity, which to me means encouraging more efficient and effective working hours while still maintaining balance in life. My first tip would be to identify both when and where you are the most productive. It's always easier said than done, but start by thinking about what has worked for you in the past. Do you get into an afternoon slump? Are you only able to work late in the evening? Or is the morning when your mind feels the most clear? What about where you like to work? In your bed, at your desk, or do you like being somewhere totally different like the library or a cafe? Finding the answer to these questions can help you be more efficient when planning tasks and allow you to have longer focused sessions. Knowing where you can go when you really need to get some work done can also help with beating procrastination and managing your time. Additionally, if you're ever in a slump and lack motivation, knowing the environment that stimulates your personal productivity can be a factor that helps you get out of it. 2. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you would know that I love time blocking. I talk about it in almost every other video. I've linked some additional information down below, but essentially it's a time management strategy where you divide your day into chunks of time. Instead of keeping an open-ended to-do list of things that you jump around on, you'll start your days with a concrete schedule that lays out what you'll work on and when. With days that are planned in advance, you won't have to constantly make choices about what to focus on. Now, why is this effective? Well, it allows you to separate your deep and shallow tasks. Examples of shallow tasks include replying to emails or making phone calls, while deep tasks include studying or working on a project. This separation promotes focus and makes it easier for you to stay in the flow state. 3. You've just put your phone away, sat down at a desk, and now you're ready to get to work. What do you want to do? Setting realistic goals before you start working can help you better manage your time and keep you motivated. By having something that you're striving towards, you're more likely to remain on task and get what you want done. However, this is where a lot of people fall into the trap of setting unrealistic goals, underestimating how long it will take them or the difficulty of the tasks. Psychologists call this phenomenon the planning fallacy, in which predictions about how much time will be needed to complete a future task display an optimism bias and underestimate the time needed. So it's not just you, everyone experiences this. So how do you overcome it? A few things that have worked for me include breaking down bigger tasks into smaller, more manageable chunks, adding a buffer time on top of the time that I think I'll need, and also looking at how long similar tasks have taken me in the past to plan my future schedule. Track your progress and don't be afraid to take on some trial and error. You'll get the hang of it over time. 4. I don't know who needs to hear this, but you don't need to write your notes the same way for the whole semester or keep using a physical planner until it runs out just for the sake of consistency. If it's not working for you, leave it behind and try something else. I've fallen victim to this too, where I didn't want to change the way that I took math and physics notes, even though it wasn't working, because then there'd be inconsistencies throughout the term. But if there's one thing that I've learned from all my years of school, is that if you don't make a change when something isn't working well, your results will only get worse and not improve. Being adaptable and letting go of the idea that everything needs to be perfectly organized within your control will make miles of a difference. In order to get the results you want, study smart and hard instead of just studying hard. 5. This tip may be more difficult to grasp, but it's to learn the balance between listening to your body while still being able to maintain self-control. We all have days where we just want to curl into bed and do nothing all day, but being able to figure out whether that is just because you're lazy or if you're starting to feel tired and burnt out is important. In an era where the grind has been emphasized more than ever before, it's important to be able to identify feelings of exhaustion and fatigue when they first surface and take actions to address them before you burn out. In contrast, laziness is a temporary feeling where you're just unwilling to spend your energy, even if in theory you could. Lots of feelings can contribute to this: lack of motivation or goals, fear of failure, procrastination, etc. Being able to have the self-control to do tasks even when you're feeling lazy is a key feature that distinguishes productive people. Now, how do you differentiate between the two? That's a harder question to answer and one that has to be taken on by yourself. Being more mindful of your feelings and conscious of these differences can help in learning the balance. 6. Imagine this. It's been a long week and you're finally ready to get back to work, but as soon as you sit down at your desk, you can't help but feel restless and unfocused. Pause and take some time to clean up your space and clear your mind. You may think you're not bothered by the mess of boxes on the floor or the string of cords littered on your desk, but researchers at Princeton have shown that constant visual reminders of disorganization drain our cognitive resources and reduce our ability to focus. They also found that when study participants cleared clutter from their work environment, they were able to better focus and process information, so their productivity increased. Building off of that point, clearing your mind is equally as important when you're getting set up for a work session. If you're feeling overwhelmed, distracted, or just have a lot on your mind, take some time consciously first to clear out those thoughts. Once again, different strategies work for everyone, but things that you can try include going out for a walk or going for a workout, taking a bath, journaling, or meditating. Depending on what is on your mind, either take some time to think through it and sort out your feelings, or try to consciously eliminate these distractions. Journaling has always been one of my go-to strategies, as I can write down all my thoughts and brain dump it onto the page. This always makes me feel as if a weight is lifted off my shoulders and clears space in my brain to think about other things. 7. I often get asked, how are you so motivated? And the truth is, the majority of the time, I'm not. If I asked myself what I wanted to do every day, you wouldn't see me waking up before 10 a.m. or going to lectures at all. Instead, I ask myself, what would the person I'd like to be do? Your life isn't going to magically change, so showing up one day at a time and one task at a time is how you can turn your dream life into a reality. We become what we repeatedly do. I'll always talk about habits as it's been one of the things that has made the biggest impacts on my life. Habits are the small decisions you make and the actions you perform every day. Your life today is essentially the sum of your habits. Think about the person you want to become. What would they do every day? Start with a small habit that you can stick with for good, build the behavior, and the results will come. 8. And last but not least, this is your weekly reminder that taking a break is productive too. When you're working or studying hard, your brain has to resist distractions in order to focus on the task at hand. This level of concentration is difficult to maintain for extended periods of time, and at some point, you'll need to recharge and give your brain a break after working so hard. Taking regular, consistent breaks is important in optimizing function and preventing burnout. Hustle culture has left us thinking that we need to sacrifice things like rest and relaxation in order to be successful. The guilt you may feel when taking breaks can be caused by fear of falling behind, the fear of failure, the fear of being not good enough, etc. But it's important to remember that taking time off work and replenishing our energy and mood can actually lead to better results when you come back. How can you take good care of your work or learning if you don't take good care of yourself first? That is it for today's video. Before I go, I'm going to leave you with a few last thoughts. Everything is different for everyone. What works for one person doesn't mean that it will work for another, as everyone has different lifestyle, habits, and routines. Don't be afraid to do some trial and error, be mindful and conscious of your actions, and everything will work out in the end. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this type of voiceover style video. If you did, make sure to give it a like, let me know down below, and I will see you all next week. Bye.
Maybe I've been going nowhere lately.